Welcome everyone. This is Indian Express of 24th August 2022 and I will explain this newspaper in 3 steps. First is why is the news, second one is what is the news, and third one is what can be the future prospects of the news. So let's get started with the first news. 3 IAF officers sacked for BrahMos missiles misfire. Now why is the news? This news is because on March 2022, there was a missile that was accidentally fired from India and it landed towards Pakistan. So you can guess how troubling it was for India. And it was not an attack from India, it was an accident. So now Indian Air Force had set up an inquiry and it has now found that 3 officers were responsible for that. So looking forward, what is the decision? A statement issued by Indian Air Force said deviation from standard operating procedures led to firing of missile and 3 officers have been held responsible. Who are 3 officers? These 3 officers are of rank holding group captain, one is wing commander and another third one is squadron leader. So this is what happened. Now their services have been terminated government with immediate effect and termination order have been served upon. So overall these 3 officers have been terminated. What can be the future prospects? I would say that it is very obvious that the officers who work in Indian Army, Indian Navy or whether Indian Air Force are very much eligible for that job. But if some mistake occurs, there should be no leniency by government because the reputation of India depends on these officers. We know that Pakistan was not much aggressive about this misfire, but what if Pakistan was over aggressive and what if it takes the matter to the world platform or whether the United Nations platform? The reputation of India must have gone very low. So because the reputation and also the future of India lies in the shoulders of these officers, so they must be very vigilant and no mistake can be beared. So whatever decision is taken, I think is good. You can also think of it because I know mistake happens, but it should not when you are in the position of holding the future as well as security of a country in your shoulders. So moving forward to our next news, BJP suspends MLA in Telangana over profit remarks. So this news is because there's a great divide between religions since past, but nowadays its news is coming from more politicians. They are openly talking about other religions in a bad way. Previously it was Nupur Sharma and now it is Raja Singh. So BJP obviously have suspend and court has orders released citing police failure to serve notice. Now he has posted a video on social media and expelled. Now we'll see what occurred, what will happen to him because Nupur Sharma was seriously threatened and a lot of trouble was created because of the remarks that she gave for profit. Now we will see what will happen to this man. Obviously he will be threatened, but I think what he has done is also wrong. Degrading talks about other religion does not simply makes your religion more good. So he must have restrained about the talks that he have done about other religions. So we will see in future what court and other countries also, Arab countries reacted very aggressive manner in regarding to Nupur Sharma. They also have cut down export, import, business, and also some diplomatic problems occurred. Now there is another man in the row, and we'll see what disturbance he has created to this country. Now another news is Supreme Court to consider hearing pleas against release of convicts in Bilkis case. So Bilkis case, it is 2002 Gujarat gang rape as well as murder case. Now what is the backstory? I'll tell you in short. There's a backstory that these convicts were being imprisoned for lifetime, and after 14 years of their prison, they were released in remission. Remission is shortening or cutting down of the number of years that a prisoner uh, shares in the prison. So this is now it has created a lot of challenges as well as problems in our country. Now the person who was affected by this, or you can say the Bilkis, now she have also tried to challenge this principle of remission, and we will see now, because court have considered hearing pleas against release. We will see, look forward in the future what will happen. Also much of this depends, because there is a lot of clout about this in our country. So we will track this case in future. Now moving forward, we can see SC strikes down provision of jail in 1988 Benami law. So why is the news? Because there is a provision for Benami Transaction Prohibition Act, and it prescribes jail term for not following this provision. Now what Supreme Court has said? Supreme Court has said that it's unconstitutional, a provision in Benami transaction that prescribes jail term for entering into Benami transaction. Now section 3(3) of the 2016 amended enhanced the 3-year imprisonment to 7 years and fine of up to 25% of the fair market value of the property, a provision that remained untouched. So now this amendment that increased the imprisonment of 3 years to 7 years, this is called unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. So obviously it's a matter of legislature, but Supreme Court has the power to have the judicial review about the acts that are being passed by legislature. So it has said this statement in its judicial review power. Now we will, the main point here is that the court said that it is not concerned with the constitutionality of the independent forfeiture proceeding contemplated under this amendment act. On the grounds, it was leaving open the question to be decided in appropriate cases. So it's saying that it's not concerned with the constitutionality, but it was rather leaving an open question that is to be decided in cases that will come in future. It also said that at this stage, we can only recommend that the utility of independent provisions or forfeiture distinct from criminal prosecutions need to be utilized in a proportional manner, looking at the gravity of the offences. So what this whole statement means? It whole statement means that the prison year, that is 7 years, must be granted in regarding to the grave of the offences. It's saying that not everyone should be granted 7 years. If the offence is little less, you can also cut down the prison years to little less. So this is the main issue, and we will see how government will respond to it, and this amendment have already came into force, but we will see what government will react to the Supreme Court strike that occurred in this case. Now there's a news that the Supreme Court has told Ramdev to not criticize other systems. So I will tell you in very short that this is about Supreme Court telling Ramdev that I'll tell you first why this occurred, because Ramdev, whenever he used to do his advertisement about his medicines, he used to say that other doctors and other homeopathy, allopathy do not work and all this. So Supreme Court has said it does not makes your medicines superior. Now we will see what more it has. Supreme Court has said that Ramdev must restrain himself from accusing the other systems of medicine. He can tell greatness about his system. Why should he accuse all the doctors, allopathy, every system of medicine? Ultimately, we respect him. He popularized yoga. We all used to go to his programs and watch yoga, but he should not criticize the other systems. Now, Supreme Court is also asking a question that what is the guarantee that Ayurveda or whatever system he is following will cure all the diseases, and the type of advertisement accusing all the doctors as if they are killers. So this is being told by Supreme Court. Now Supreme Court, because it has referred to some advertisements that Ramdev said that you will become blind, you will have a lifelong problem from allopathy, your bones will become weak. So that's a different issue, but he can't abuse the doctors and the system. It's better he must restrain himself from accusing the other systems. So this is an unfair kind of advertisement, I would say, because degrading other people's product is also unfair practice that people use in advertisement. You must have seen comparing items of two different brands, that this is good, this is not good, comes openly in the newspaper and other media. So what Supreme Court has said is right. You must popularize, you must tell all the good things about your product, but do not criticize other one. Moving forward to our explained page. First news is how Google tech that flags child sexual abuse material works. So why is the news? Because in the recent past, Google have tracked down some of the child sexual abuse materials by itself, by its own workers also. So how this technology work is given here: scanning for child sexual abuse materials. So Google states that it relies on automated detection and human review. So both of these works. First is artificial intelligence, that to automated detection, as well as human review, in addition to relying on reports that are submitted by our users and third parties such as non-government organizations to detect, remove and report these materials on our platform. But what it uses is basically two main technologies. These apply to photos, videos and files you might upload to Google Drive, Google Photos, etc. Your Google account is linked to all these services. So the first technology is hash matching, and this includes YouTube's CSAI, which is child sexual abuse imagery match technology. How this works: this match is a technology deployed on YouTube to fight videos of child abuse and can spot re-uploads of previously identified child sexual abuse materials in videos, according to Google. So this particularly works by matching it against Google database. Basically, every time Google detects an image that is potentially identified as child sexual abuse material, it assigned a hash or numeric value, and then it is matched again an earlier hash from an existing database. So basically it does its tracking, it does its matching by looking at the image and basically with its own machine learning, it uh, finds out that this is the material or not. So Google is not the only one using this hash matching technology. Companies like Microsoft, Facebook, Apple, these also deploy similar techniques. So told you that Google also deploys machine learning tools to search for child sexual abuse material and has announced this back in 2018. These machine learning classifiers can discover never before seen material. Now technology relies on machine learning and deep neural networks for image processing. What is the advantage? Advantage here is that you can find content that might not be a part of hashed database. So it's two things. First is this hashed one, and second is machine learning. So this is how it works. Now what is another news? Europe's great drought. So there is because of climate change, and also China and US are also facing drought. So why is the news? Because this rainy season of India too was not that wet also, and Europe is suffering from a great drought. Now we'll see what is the news. Europe's biggest river, which is Rhine, Po, Loire, Danube, which are usually formidable waterways, are unable to support even mid-sized boat. They have all dried up. As water levels have fallen, remains of sunken ships and ominously named hunger stones, rocks, engraved by previous generations during earlier period of extraordinary dryness, have come out of erstwhile depth. So you can say many materials. In fact, there was a World War II missile that was also found in Europe's dried river. So this is worst in 500 years. So you can completely sink in that it is worst in 500 years, not 50. So what is the impact? Impact has been debilitating. Water transport suffered badly, and it is having cascading effects. Also, what are the effects? First is water transport. Second is power production, which is leading to electricity shortage and further increase in energy prices. Also, food is a very expensive. Drinking water has become a problem. It is worst in 500 years. So there is a type of drought that is given here. Drought is a rainfall scarce period affecting the availability of water, water for irrigation, drinking, etc. So these are classified into three types. First is meteorological, second is hydrological, and third is agricultural. So what is meteorological? This drought is a prolonged dry spell in periods when rainfall is expected. So it's a long scarcity. Hydrological is when scarcity of water begin to hit normal supplies in the system. So it's like when drinking water is not available, it's not a long time. So hydrological is basically a year basis. Now agriculture is what? Agriculture drought is when scarcity of water begins to affect only the agriculture production. Now in Europe, all three kinds are being observed currently. So it's a big devastation, you can say, varying in degrees in different areas. Now both these waterways and power have affected. This is like 90% of the Switzerland, France, and 83% of Germany and 75% of Italy are facing agriculture drought. So you can think of the food production is in great danger, and also some parts of UK have received rain, but this is only marginal. Now no rain and record heat. So this is you may know that Europe is suffering from scorching heat in this year. It is believed to have a pleasant summer in UK, in Europe, but this summer was especially very hot. Also, because of this high temperature, Europe is suffering from drought also, because unusually high temperatures have led to increased evaporation of surface water and soil moisture. So now the severity of current drought can also at least be attributed to the fact that has appeared so soon after the 2018 event. Because of this, you can say severity has increased because of these high temperatures. It evaporated all the water, and many areas in Europe were still to recover from that drought. Soil moisture has been stored to normal, but current dry spell has sapped it further of moisture. So after 2018 event, soil moisture was restored, but now it's all gone. So not only the Europe but whole world is suffering from drought, including in India too. Many parts of China too are headed towards a serious drought and being described as worst in 60 years. The China's longest river, which is Yangtze, which caters to about 1/3 of the Chinese population, is seeing water level drops to record lows, and this is according to South China Morning Post. Two of the country's biggest freshwater lake, which is China's two biggest freshwater lake, which is Poyang and Dongting, they have touched their lowest level since 1951. And what it has done, water scarcity is leading to problems similar to those in Europe. Power shortages leads to factories shut, and also a great strain on global supply chains, because China is a hub of global supply chain, and if such kind of catastrophe occurs in China, it obviously hurts its supply chains. And what's about US? Over 40% of the area in US are also under drought condition, and it is affecting about 130 million people according to US government. So this is all because of changing climate, and also other reasons also there, but main issue is the changing climate. What worse can we see if we are already looking at a 500-year record of such a drought in Europe, and the whole world is suffering from it. Obviously, if it doesn't open the eyes of the whole world, what else can? So what we can do is to really restore the damage what we have done to our mother planet, and other things. Now coming to economy page, not rigid on any auto fuel tech, but petrol, diesel alternatives needed. So there's an interview of Mr. Nitin Gadkari, who is Union Road Transport and Highways Minister. So I will only tell you in short what he have told. He is saying that we should implement all alternative fuel technology available in the country to help us bring down our import bills. Ethanol and methanol both are ready being blended with fossil fuels to reduce this dependence on imported crude. So why is the news? This is because, as you know, there is a crude oil shortage because of Russia and Ukraine war, as well as OPEC countries also are having hydrocarbon issues. So it is talking about that we must look for alternative fuel technology. So they are talking about electric vehicles as well as hydrogen cars. So this is the main news, and not so much else is given in this news. We will see about word in the word page. Weary but uncowed. Ukraine to marks Independence Day amid new strike fears. So there is an upcoming Independence Day in Ukraine, and it's a threat from Russia. Obviously it's a hidden threat that it may attack Ukraine in a more devastating way than none another, because as you know, in the world these events are chosen as a big day to just attack other countries and leave the catastrophe to these countries. We will see what will happen during the Independence Day, so we have to wait for that day also. Want to change UK India relations, Sunak. So why the news? Because you know Rishi Sunak is a candidate for British Prime Minister, and also Liz Truss is also there. So he is saying that he wants to change UK India relationship to make it more two-way exchange that opens up easy access to UK students and companies in India. So he was talking about this, and also talk in Hindi and also Gujarati and Urdu too. He said Namaste, Salam, Kemsho and Kidda in Punjabi too. He even broke into Hindi and he said Aap sab mere parivar ho. You all are my family. We know that UK India relationship is important. We represent the living bridge between our two countries. He said, I want to make sure that it's easy for our students to also travel to India and learn, and it's easy for our companies and Indian companies to work together. So it is talking about British students and Indian companies. He wants British students to learn in India in a good way, and also wants Indian companies to work together with Britain, because it's just not a one-way relationship, it's a two-way relationship. So all this is to, obviously it may be to really support UK India, but more of it is to gain support from the Indian diaspora that lives in UK. This is the main, you can say this is the same trick that was used by Trump also, and he also said in a very funny way, "Ab ki baar Trump sarkar." So this is funny, but we will see how his words change into action if he won the election. Obviously, Liz Truss is not in a bad race. She is in a good condition than Sunak. So we will see after the elections who will win and who will do what. Now this is UK spy agencies alleged to have tipped India on Johal. So this comes the news from UK. British intelligence agency are accused of tipping off Indian authorities about a British Sikh man now being held in an Indian prison on terrorism charges and conspiracy to murder. So this is the news. He was being held, this British Sikh man, he was being held in an Indian prison for terrorism and conspiracy to murder. He is from British national from Scotland and was arrested by Punjab on Monday, UK. So this is a local news, I think not that important. Spy agencies alleged okay. UK have alleged that he was subject to torture and mistreatment. So this is the news that we will see whether how government reacts to it, because it's not a big deal. So now comes an end to this newspaper. Today not much news was about India. There was very less news about India. It was more of international news in this newspaper. So you can read it as well.